If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with cancer and your doctor told you it doesn't matter what you eat, this video could be one of the most important things you ever watch. Because here's the truth that mainstream medicine almost never talks about. What you eat can either feed cancer or starve it. I'm not here to sell you anything. No supplements, no programs, no products. What I'm going to share with you today is backed by peer-reviewed research, and I'll link the studies in the description so you can read them yourself and share them with your doctor. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how cancer cells survive, what fuels them, and the specific dietary strategies that can help cut off their food supply. This isn't a replacement for your medical treatment. It's something powerful you can add on top of whatever protocol you're already on. Let's get into it. What you need to understand about cancer. First, before we talk about diet, we need to understand a few critical things about how cancer actually works. Because once you understand this, the dietary strategy is going to make complete sense. First, cancer is not one disease. The word cancer covers an enormous range of conditions. The medical term is heterogeneous, meaning cancer is different in its genes, its origin, and its type depending on where it appears in the body. What works against one type of cancer may not work the same way against another. This is why a one-size-fits-all approach, whether dietary or medical, often falls short. Second, cancer cells are actually weak. This might surprise you. Cancer cells originally came from your normal, healthy cells. When the mitochondria, the energy powerhouses inside your cells, get damaged, the cell essentially goes into emergency survival mode. It reverts to a primitive backup energy system. And that backup system has specific vulnerabilities we can exploit. Third, cancer thrives in low oxygen, high inflammation environments. One of the reasons exercise is so powerful as an anti-cancer strategy is that it floods your body with oxygen, and cancer cells genuinely struggle in high oxygen environments. This is also the science behind hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Fourth, cancer is constantly trying to hide from your immune system. Your immune system has specialized cells whose entire job is to find and destroy cancer. But cancer is clever. It actively evades these immune cells. This is why protecting and strengthening your immune system is one of the most important things you can do. And this is where vitamin D becomes absolutely critical, which I'll cover in detail in just a moment. The cancer fuel connection. This is everything. Here's the concept that the entire dietary strategy is built around. And it's one of the most powerful ideas in modern cancer research. Cancer needs fuel to survive. And different cancers prefer different fuels. The great majority of fast-growing cancers, including glioblastoma, colorectal cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, head and neck cancers, and cervical cancer, run primarily on glucose, sugar, and glutamine, an amino acid found in protein-rich foods. Some hormone-influenced cancers can also feed on lipids, dietary fats. Certain cancers, including some liver cancers, can use branched-chain amino acids as fuel. And here's something I know will be controversial, because it was personally hard for me to accept when I first encountered the research. Some aggressive, late-stage cancers can also utilize ketones. I'll explain exactly what this means for your diet strategy in a moment. But I want you to hear this now, so you're not blindsided later. Why does this matter? Because if you know what fuel your specific cancer runs on, you can design a diet that cuts off that fuel supply. This is called metabolic cancer therapy. And while it is not a standalone cure, the research supporting it as a complementary strategy is growing significantly. The key principle: starve the cancer of its preferred fuel before it can adapt to a new one. The rotating anti-cancer diet strategy. Now here's where it gets really strategic, and this is the part most cancer diet videos completely miss. Cancer is adaptive. If you simply cut out sugar and stay on one diet indefinitely, the cancer will eventually find another fuel source and keep growing. So the solution is not one diet. The solution is a rotating diet protocol that keeps the cancer constantly starved and unable to adapt. Here's how it works. Diet number 1, the anti-glucose diet, ketogenic diet. This is a very low carbohydrate, high healthy fat diet that eliminates sugar and starchy foods entirely. By cutting glucose, you starve the cancers that depend on sugar as their primary fuel. For most glucose-dependent cancers, like colorectal, breast, lung, and cervical, you would follow this diet for 10 to 14 days. Diet number 2, the anti-glutamine diet, plant-based protocol. After your anti-glucose phase, you rotate to a mostly plant-based diet that is very low in glutamine-rich foods. This targets the cancer cells that survived the first phase by switching to glutamine as fuel. This phase typically lasts 4 to 5 days for most cancer types. Then you rotate back, and you keep rotating. This constant switching is the key. The cancer never gets a long enough window to fully adapt to one fuel source. You are essentially keeping it in a perpetual state of starvation. For specific cancers, the rotation looks slightly different. For melanoma, start with the anti-glucose diet for 5 to 7 days, then switch to anti-glutamine for 7 to 10 days, then rotate back. For prostate cancer, which can feed on lipids, start with anti-glucose for just 2 to 3 days, then transition to an anti-lipid low-fat protocol. Omega-3 fatty acids are permitted because research shows they actually work against cancer rather than feeding it. For liver cancer, which can use branched-chain amino acids, start with anti-glucose for 5 to 7 days, then move to an anti-branched-chain amino acid diet for 7 to 10 days, then rotate back. Intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting for cancer. Diet rotation is powerful, but when you combine it with fasting, the anti-cancer effect becomes significantly stronger. Here's why fasting works against cancer. When you fast, you cut off virtually all fuel sources simultaneously. But more importantly, fasting triggers a cellular cleanup process called autophagy, where your body breaks down and recycles damaged, dysfunctional cells. This is essentially your body's built-in cancer-fighting mechanism, and it only activates during periods of fasting. My recommendation for daily eating: compress your eating window to 2 meals a day, or ideally 1 meal a day if you can manage it. This keeps insulin low, glucose low, and autophagy active for longer periods throughout the day. For prolonged fasting, once or twice every 2 to 3 weeks, I recommend extending your fast to 24, 48, or even 72 hours. And here's an important strategic point. Vary the length of your fast deliberately. Do a 48-hour fast 1 week, wait 2 weeks, and do a 72-hour fast. Then a week later, do a 5-day fast. The irregularity is intentional. Cancer can sometimes adapt to predictable patterns. Randomizing your fasting schedule removes that adaptation window. For advanced or late-stage cancers, there is compelling research and documented real-world cases of people completing extended fasts of 30 days or longer under medical supervision with remarkable outcomes. I have a separate video on this topic linked in the description. Vitamin D, oxygen, and immune system optimization. Beyond diet and fasting, there are 3 additional pillars of any serious anti-cancer strategy. Vitamin D, the cancer fighter. Most people are deficient. And vitamin D is not just a vitamin, it functions more like a hormone, and it plays a critical role in immune system regulation and cancer cell suppression. Here is something that the research reveals that is genuinely alarming. Cancer cells actively block vitamin D receptors in the body. They do this because vitamin D threatens their survival. So they essentially turn off the door through which vitamin D enters. The strategic response? Keep your vitamin D blood levels significantly higher than the standard recommendation ideally around 90 to 100 nanograms per milliliter, to overpower the receptor blockade that cancer creates. Get daily sun exposure and consider supplementing under your doctor's supervision. Oxygen, cancer's natural enemy. As we discussed earlier, cancer cells thrive in low oxygen environments. Exercise is one of the most powerful anti-cancer tools available because it dramatically increases oxygen delivery to your tissues. Even moderate daily movement, walking, cycling, swimming, creates a systemic environment that is genuinely hostile to cancer cell survival. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is another option worth researching with your doctor. Immune system strengthening. Everything we've discussed, diet rotation, fasting, vitamin D, exercise, all contribute to a stronger immune system. And a strong immune system is your body's most sophisticated cancer-fighting weapon. Chemotherapy, while sometimes necessary, does suppress immune function as a side effect. This makes immune support not just helpful, but essential during treatment. Cancer prevention, the diet to follow before cancer strikes. If you're watching this video and you don't currently have cancer, this section is for you. The diet I recommend for cancer prevention is different from the treatment protocol I've outlined above. For prevention, you don't need the complex rotation strategy. Instead, I recommend a healthy ketogenic diet combined with intermittent fasting as your long-term lifestyle baseline. Here's why. Keeping glucose and insulin levels consistently low removes the primary fuel source that the majority of cancers depend on. Intermittent fasting keeps autophagy active, continuously clearing damaged cells before they can become cancerous. And a whole food, nutrient-dense ketogenic diet is naturally rich in anti-cancer compounds. From cruciferous vegetables to healthy fats to antioxidant-rich berries. The goal of cancer prevention is to never give cancer a favorable environment to take hold in the first place. Low glucose, low inflammation, high oxygen, strong immune system. These four conditions make your body a genuinely hostile environment for cancer cell development. I want to be clear about something before we close. I am not telling you to stop any medical treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, surgery. These are decisions you make with your oncologist, and I fully respect that. What I am offering you is a powerful, research-backed nutritional strategy that you can layer on top of whatever treatment protocol you're following. The core principles to remember: cancer needs fuel. Know what fuel your specific cancer uses. Rotate your diet to cut off every possible fuel source before the cancer can adapt. Fast regularly to trigger autophagy and starve cancer at the cellular level. Optimize your vitamin D to fight cancer at the receptor level. Exercise to flood your body with oxygen. And strengthen your immune system, because it is your most powerful long-term weapon. If this video helped you or someone you love, please share it. Someone out there is sitting in a doctor's office right now being told that diet doesn't matter. Let's make sure they find this video. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Every week we go deep on the science of health, nutrition, and what your body actually needs to heal. Drop a comment below. What type of cancer are you or your loved one dealing with? Our community is here to support you.